Are you a professional who wants to become a more effective leader? Then get ready for daily tips from the coach with the experience and inspiration to help you succeed in any leadership situation. You're listening to the Meeting Leadership Podcast with Gordon Shepherd.
Welcome to another episode of the Meeting Leadership Podcast, where we give you the tips and the strategies that you need to help you build your leadership skills and learn how to run outstanding meetings. It's great to have you here. And if you are a leader who really appreciates the power of positive reinforcement, then you're going to get a lot out of today's episode. Because today, we're going to talk about why leaders need to learn how to build people up. And thankfully, to help us do this, we're bringing on an expert. It's Professor Lyle Benson. Now, he teaches in the business school at MacEwan University, and he has also worked as a management consultant and a whole lot more over his multi-decade career. And one of the main reasons that I really enjoyed doing this interview with Lyle Benson, well, it came from his tone. I would describe it as with like a firm kindness, but it's the kind of thing that envelops you, and it will really seep into all of your leadership bones right down to the core. And I think you're going to get a ton out of this interview, so I won't wait any longer. Here's the interview with Lyle. Lyle Benson, welcome to the show. It is great to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's really a great gift. I know from the pre-interview that we did, there's so much great information I know that you're about to share with the audience. And really for me, more than anything, is I can hear the wise tone that you've got in your message. So I can't wait to get to the message, but there's a lot of people that haven't met you. So when you go to introduce yourself, what do you tell people?
I currently work at MacEwan University. I've been here for 30 years, but before I came to MacEwan, I was a consultant and I worked a lot with businesses. And my passion has been especially working with young people to develop their leadership skills. Instead of waiting until somebody's 50 years old to teach them these things, start when somebody's 15 to 20 years old. And that's why I transitioned into university.
Well, what a great gift, bringing that attitude to your work at that time. And I couldn't agree more. I'm actually 52 and still learning, but maybe kind of slower than I'd hoped to when I think about it. And so I love that your attitude is to be in there and inspiring the young people, as I know you do day in, day out when you're doing your teaching. And that leads us to our topic for today. And this is the one we talked about in the pre-interview, and we're going to call it Why Leaders Need to Learn How to Build People Up. Now, why is it so important for you to bring that subject forward?
Well, one of the things that happens is just imagine in your own life, to think about a person who is an effective leader and think of a person who is an ineffective leader. And who do you want to hang around with? Who do you want to lead you? Well, it's the effective leader. And what is one thing that effective leaders do? I mean, they have many, many skills, but one of the things that they do is they build people up.
And when you say build people up, what do you mean?
Well, one of the things that happens is that many people think that the way that I can motivate people, the way that I inspire people is focusing on their negatives to make them better. And I want people to just stop for a second and think about, what if you did the opposite? What if you looked for the positive in people? Would that change how you be a leader? Would that change how people do their jobs? And one of the things that happens is that in our society, we're so used to giving constructive criticism. And don't get me wrong there. We have to focus on constructive criticism. But if that's the only thing we do is constructive criticism, then we're really not helping people in the long term. Maybe in the short term, but not in the long term, because only focusing on constructive criticism destroys people's self-esteem and self-confidence. And as a leader, you want to increase the self-esteem of your followers and you want to increase their self-confidence. So this is where we have to build people up. And one of the ways that we build people up is we focus on people's strengths and we give them praise.
I'm just going through, honestly, a Rolodex of the teachers that I had that inspired me, and they're rare. It's a lot fewer, and the negative list is a lot longer. And when I think about my experience in the corporate world, where so often there weren't any trained managers around to have any of this type of awareness, and they didn't even, again, have the understanding of the value of this approach.
Well, one of the things is, as I tell my students at MacEwan University, I said, don't believe me. Go and try it. Try it for a week and see what happens. I'll give an example, though. First off, we just have to use common sense. I mean, if I back up my truck and smash into your car, you can't say what a great smash up it is. No, you have to give me heck. But the other thing that happens is that we have to accept people. Like, I can't change another person. The only person I can change is myself. So I accept other people but I don't accept their bad behavior or inappropriate behavior. So that's where constructive criticism comes in. But here's the other thing. Start looking for the good in people. Every person that you hire does something well. Start looking for the good in people and then start telling them what they're doing well. Start encouraging them, start praising them, start supporting them. I give an example of one of my assignments for my students, and I encourage people to do this as well too. Go to your mom and dad and tell them something you like, admire, or appreciate about them. And this is more than I love you, Mom, or more than I love you, Dad, but something very specific, some specific behavior. Now, you practice that, and it will be a hard thing for many people to do because we're not used to doing it. We're not trained to tell people what they're doing well. Now you transfer that over. To give an example, I worked with an organization, and when I went in there, everybody would run and hide when they saw the boss coming down. And the first thing I had him do was, for the first week, he had to find 5 different people in the organization, go up to them and tell each one of them one thing they were doing well. And within a couple of weeks, the whole organization changed. The whole organization changed because he did that.
What a fantastic insight. I mean, the thing, I'll just pull this apart for a couple seconds. You're talking about, in the same way that I need to learn how to do more push-ups, you can't do push-ups without actually doing push-ups. And what you're prompting leaders here to do is to actually practice the art of praise and really get into specific situations they can go home and do today. Like you said, with your parents, you could do it with a friend, and then look at that insight that you just gave to any senior leader in an organization right now. This idea of that simple act of picking out those people and then telling them what they're doing right, and look at the transformation that you've actually experienced. It's remarkable.
Well, the biggest transformation is going to be in the leader themselves, himself or herself. Because, that old saying, what goes around comes around. If you're building up people, eventually they start building up one another in your organization, and it becomes a cultural thing. Now, this will take time, but as the role model, as the leader in the organization, you must do this if you want to be more effective. You don't have to do it, but if you want to be more effective, if you want your organization to be more effective, if you want your people to be more effective, try it. And all I'm suggesting is try it for a week. Pick out 3 people in your organization, 3 different people, go tell them what they're doing well. And then after a week, reflect and say, is this organization better? Is my team better? Am I a better leader because of this? So one of the things that you can do is always start with an opening line like, oh, thank you very much, or good work, or terrific, or fantastic, or outstanding, or keep up the good work. And then it has to be, what specific behavior is that person doing? I really appreciate the fact that if I ask you to work overtime, you always do it for me without complaining. Or I really like the fact that your work is 100% accurate all the time. I don't have to check your work. So it's the behavior that the individual is doing. Because what happens then is you start to get to know your people as individuals. Now, here's another way to practice it. You can practice it with the janitor and say, you know what, I really appreciate the fact that you keep our building so clean. And you know what? They smile a little bit, they stand a little bit straighter, and they do a better job. And how much money does this cost you? Nothing. It doesn't cost you any money. It takes 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and that's about it. Rewards come back 100-fold.
This is obviously a massive way to impact in such a simple way, and the payoff would be absolutely gigantic.
Oh, it's absolutely huge. But don't take my word for it. Go and try it.
I wish I was a student sitting in your class. My guess is whatever it is, how many classes later, I'd be walking out maybe a little bit straighter myself, a little bit prouder myself, and wanting to do even more. What a great gift that you're bringing out here to the podcast audience, to your students, to the people that you're touching in your world. Lyle, if people need to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
They can contact me at email, bensonl, BENSONL, at MacEwan, MacEwan.ca. Be happy to respond.
Lyle, thank you so much for being on the show.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you having me.
After listening to that interview, I think as leaders, we all could use a little more Lyle in the world. Why not go out and build people up and give it a try? Not only will it change you and your team, it will make your business, your organization, your family way more profitable. And if you'd like to get even more great leadership tips from Lyle Benson, then check out episode 89 on the Meeting Leadership podcast. It's called Why Sarcasm is Hurting Your Team and What Leaders Can Do About It. And you can get that episode by going to meetingleadershipinc.com/89. And then, if you're looking for some real inspiration, check out episode 97 on the Meeting Leadership Podcast. It's called Inspiring Leadership Stories, and it features Lyle Benson sharing some of his best insights. And you can get that episode by going to meetingleadershipinc.com/97. And I also want to let you know that this episode of the Meeting Leadership Podcast is brought to you by the Meeting Leadership Academy. There you're going to find some really solid live training options for you and your team, like the Effective Meetings Workshop. And for online solutions, well, if you want to study on your own to build your leadership skills and again, learn how to have even more effective meetings, then check out meetingleadershipinc.com/academy. And if you haven't done it yet, take a moment to hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. And if you want to send a rating and a review, we will respond, and it'll influence what we put on the show for you and other people to enjoy. And as always, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Meeting Leadership Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Meeting Leadership Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more strategies to help you become an outstanding leader. And don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you fresh content every day. We'll see you tomorrow, right here on the Meeting Leadership Podcast.
I'm on top of the world, now I'm living, and the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning.